Okay, guys, continuing the Fundamental Foundations for Freedom series here. Today we are going to be on aligning thoughts, words, and actions. The very first thing we went over that has to be understood before you can go any further is what abuse is. It means misuse. Again, if we are human, we are not meant to be put into slavery systems. That is a misuse. That is abuse right off the bat. All we've ever known our whole lives is abuse. Okay? It's got to be understood. That step has to be taken and fully integrated, that this whole system of control that we live under is all abuse. Okay? Because if you can't accept that fundamental fact as our reality and what's really going on here, then there's no sense in changing anything. Why would you change anything? Why would you take the initiative to do anything? Everything's fine just the way it is. It should be chaos. So you have to fully integrate what abuse is and realize how pervasive it is throughout society, in our culture, in our social structures, in our governments, in our education system, in our families, in our friends. Everything, our peer groups, our work, everything is abuse. So the first step after that would be to recognize and accept things for what they are. That takes balls, it takes courage, it takes honesty. Takes getting down to the fundamental things, quit playing surface level, quit making justifications and excuses. Well, my parents love me, they did the best they could. They brought you into a slavery system, named, numbered, and cataloged you at birth, and then made sure that you complied and that you took the medical interventions, heavy toxic metals into your system. They made sure that you went to 12 years of indoctrination camps. That way, you could turn out at 18 years old an obedient slave and then go to work and be in the system. So recognizing and accepting is the very first thing after, fully integrating what abuse means. Reclaiming your authority. You have got to reclaim your authority. You cannot give your authority to a government, to a teacher, to an expert, to a guru, and anything else and expect that you're going to make changes within you, because you are going to rely on these experts, these gurus, these saviors, these governments to rescue you and give you the answers. And all they're going to do is give you the answers to keep you inside the mind slave box on the program. Next, you're going to have to detach, quit idolizing and worshiping. So you got to detach from the 3D illusion. You have to detach from all of this that you see around you, that you've been addicted to your whole life, whether that be food, whether that be the thought processes, the programmings, the indoctrination center schooling, the entertainment, the politics, the health industry, the food industry, all that stuff. You got to detach from all of it, and that's why it takes recognizing and accepting before you can even do that. You have to recognize and accept that they're all pervasive forms of control and abuse before you can detach, quit identifying and worshiping. And when you do that, you'll refocus your attention and energy onto yourself, and you'll be amazed at how much attention and energy that we actually possess at any given moment when you take it back from everywhere else, from focusing on everything else, sports and fucking politics and wars and this thing and that thing and what's going on this part of the world and what's going on over there and how your friends are doing and what your family's up to, and you turning around on yourself and you just laser focus that onto yourself. You'll be surprised. You'll be amazed. After we get through these, we're going to start utilizing the faculties of our mind. You got reason. I think we went over 6 of them, I believe it was. But the ones I really like: reasoning and intuition, intelligence. You have not ever used these things. You have inside of the mind slave box, and the definition of those words within the mind slave box, which again is all your programming contained in here that you were programmed with, you were indoctrinated with from the age of 0 to 18 years old to get you, so that way when you were out on your own, the system knew, okay, we don't have to keep an eye on him 24/7 anymore. He's downloaded on the program. He knows what's going on. He knows that we got all the answers. He'll come to us for everything. If anybody's trying to break out of the box, he's going to make sure he like crab in a barrel, he sucks them back down. So you utilize the faculties of your mind. You actually, and that's sort of what we're going to be doing today with thoughts, words, and actions. Commitment and dedication to heal is next. You need to stop there before you even get to this video. If you have not fully integrated the rest of those, the prior 7 steps, you need to just stop, because that's it. That's all there is to it, to healing. That right there. It's that simple, but it's that difficult. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But it's the simplest thing. I mean, it's just common sense. It makes sense. And, we have such a hard time doing these things because it goes against all of our programming. Our programming is all reactionary. It's all non-critical thinking, non-common sense, just following the dogma, following the rhetoric, following the protocol that's been laid out. No, it doesn't matter if it makes any sense, doesn't matter if it hurts people, doesn't matter. These are the rules, these are the laws, and you gotta do them, by God, right? Everybody's gotta do them. That's how we have order in this society, okay? They can't have their order because they've got everybody inside the same mind slave box. So you got to have a complete commitment and dedication to heal, because we've been completely committed and dedicated to ruining this body, to ruining this mind, to ruining our soul, to just ruining it all. The ego's been, running full tilt since we were born and just doing whatever it wanted to do for survival. And, when our brains are meant to go in survival mode, it's just for a quick period to get us out of danger, and then we slip back in to normal operating mode, which allows us to think and allows us to, behave accordingly. But stuck in survival mode, you are just stuck there. So you're constantly just reacting. There's no time for thinking. It's all about action. So today we're on aligned thoughts, words, and actions. And again, guys, if you have not completely integrated the first 7 steps prior to today, you need to go back and you need to do that. And you need to watch these videos over and 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 over again until it just becomes, until you could sit up here and do the same thing I'm doing. It has to become a part of you. I've had these things, these boards, these pegboards that you've seen throughout this series. I've originally started writing these down a little over a year ago, I think. And I've been surrounded. I mean, my house, I'm in a very controlled environment. I cut everybody off, everything off. I got rid of all my dopamine hits, got rid of all my entertainment, got rid of everything. And so this is what I've been living by, day in, day out, hour by hour. I'm just fully focused, okay? And that's what it takes to make progress in this healing. You have to be committed. You have to be dedicated to this. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to take 2 hours tomorrow and I'm going to heal. And then for the Monday through Friday, you're just going to, go to work, slave at a job, bitch, moan, and complain. You come home, your kids are screaming and going crazy, and you're feeding them fucking processed shit, and then their emotions are going up and down, and then you're screaming at them, and you're just like, go watch TV, sit in front of the indoctrination station, and that's just chaos. It's chaos. You've got to get control of your life. You have to be your own forensic psychologist. You have to be your own private investigator. You have to be your own expert. You've got to fix your shit. Okay, so aligning thoughts, words, and actions. This is where we've been our whole lives. We talk in 20 different directions, right? Talk. We just talk. We plan. We virtue signal. We bitch, moan, and complain about everything, right? And then what we'll do is we'll go from words, and then we'll go straight in action. Okay, I gotta do it. Again, you're in reactionary mode, you're in survival mode. So you go straight from words to actions, okay? And then your actions never align because your words are everywhere. It's impossible to align your actions because you haven't firmed down your words yet, and there's been no thinking in between. So you run straight into actions, right? And then you start doing. You join a gym, you're like, I gotta lose weight, I gotta get into healthy, and then you join a gym and you go for the first month and you go there and you're, and you tell everybody, words, I'm working out, look what I'm doing for myself, virtue signaling, right? Telling how great you are, look what I'm doing, right? And then you take action, you go to the gym, and then what happens? You don't see the inside of that gym again, except for maybe to go to the pool, right? Or maybe on the weekend when the kids are stressing you out, you go and you meet a friend there and you guys bring your kids and your kids stay in the nursery and you're like, oh, and then you're like, I'm so happy that they got a nursery. Oh my God, little Johnny just pisses me off, right? He just stresses me out. You haven't been around little Johnny all fucking week. When he's not at the indoctrination center you force him to go to be a compliant little obedient slave, when he finally gets home in the evening, you get home in the evening from your fucking slave minion-minded job that you work, then you're just complaining about how much you hurt, how tired you are, how fucking just beat you are. You sit him in front of indoctrination fucking TV, you sit him in there in front of video games where he's killing people all over the world, right? You don't care. You're in survival. You can't think properly. You haven't even thought. You've words and then actions, right? And then finally you think. And then what do you think when you think? Because you've said all the words, you did the actions, you said the words. Oh, I'm gonna really take control of my health. I'm really gonna be firm on this time. Then what'd you do? You joined a gym, right? You started walking, you started jogging, whatever you did to start, initiating action on this bullshit empty words you spoke. And then all of a sudden you quit going. And then it's 2 months later and you find yourself 5-10 pounds heavier, fucking no energy, fucking stuffing your face full of fucking donuts and goddamn coffee, right? And then what are the thoughts that run through your head? Oh, I'm no good. I can't do anything right. My mom was right. I'm just a piece of shit. My dad was right. I'll never amount to anything. My friends were right. I just say one thing and do another, right? So you're completely out of alignment here. This is what we've been operating off of out of the mind slave box our whole lives. This aligning thoughts, words, actions. See how simple it is? You think, you speak, you act. That's simple. You get rid of the chaos, get rid of the confusion. So for an example, you have the thought, the Republican and Democrat Party has been around for hundreds of years. They always say one thing, but then do another, no matter who gets voted in. It seems like they're all headed in the same direction ultimately, which is over a cliff. It doesn't matter who you vote for. The elections are rigged, obviously rigged. What are you going to do? You're going to quit talking. You're going to quit speaking about these things. You're going to quit putting your attention on these things. And then what is your action going to be? Your action is going to be you quit voting. Your action is going to be you keep the fucking news off. You don't turn that shit on while in the background, of your life while you're walking around cooking dinner. Your poisonous dinner, right? Thoughts, words, and actions. The thought, oh, my kid's stressing me out. Fuck that little motherfucker. God damn it, can't he just shut the fuck up and get in front of a TV, right? That's what you're thinking, that's what you're saying over here. God damn it, Johnny, he just came home from 8 hours of fucking school having to sit in a goddamn classroom all day fucking doing jack shit, but being propagandized and indoctrinated. He wants to get home, see his mother, the one person who's supposed to love him, his father, right? You just start freaking out on him. Right? That's what we do. I see it all the time. I mean, I used to do it. What is your actions? God damn it, Johnny, go play your video game. Get out of my hair. I gotta cook your poison dinner. Right? And then what are our thoughts? We don't even have thought. Our thoughts is after Johnny finally goes and sits down in front of the indoctrination station, our thoughts are, oh, God, okay, that's only going to last an hour. He'll be back in here. Right? Whereas the proper alignment of thoughts, words, and actions would be, okay, I'm responsible. I'm the one who brought Johnny into this fucking crazy shit. I don't even know how to deal with this. I don't even know what the answers are. Maybe what a good idea to do would be, since he's been at school for 10 hours a day and I've been at work for 10 hours a day and we've had that separation, maybe he needs human contact. Maybe he just needs his mom. Okay, let me sit him up here on the counter and I'll show him how to bake. I'll show him how to fucking cook. We'll spend some time together. We'll talk about his day. We'll hang out. Instead of talking to, you're like, I talk to my kid every day when he gets home. This is how you talk to him. You're over here doing this, and the other thing. He's over there sitting down playing his fucking little iPhone thing, and then you're like, how's your day? He's like, okay. Oh yeah, what happened? You guys don't even look at each other. There's no, dude, that's not even communication. That doesn't count as communication, guys. That makes no logical sense. So your thoughts would be, I need to sit Johnny down. Hey, Johnny, you want to come over here? You want to hang out with Dad while we cook dinner? Hey, you want to hang out with Dad while I do this, chore, while I do that? You can hang out with me. Hey, you want to take 10 minutes, take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Go out there and throw a ball with them. That's all kids want. They want attention. That's all we were supposed to get when we came into this world, was human contact, that tight-knit human contact. I guarantee you, give your kids 30 minutes when they first get home. If you spend 30 minutes with them, they'll be off your shit for the rest of the evening. Guarantee it. I used to do it all the time. I spend a lot of time with my kids. And I listen to these motherfuckers always complaining, all these women. Oh my God, the kids just stress me out. They just stress me out. Because you know what all these women had in common? You know what they want to do? They wanted to sit their ass on a fucking couch and watch stupid ass reality TV programming and not be interrupted, even during commercial breaks. They wanted to sit there on their phone and text their friends and their idiot friends back and forth for hours at a time without an interruption. That's what they wanted. And so they would sit the kid in front of another TV in another room and just expect him to just sit there for hours upon hours and not even say anything. They get pissed off when the kid comes in and says, "Hey, Mom." What? Right? Yeah, it's crazy, man. So aligning thoughts, words, and actions, that means that we're thinking through things. We're finally using our faculty of reasoning now. So instead of just coming to these surface level, answers like, over 100 billion land animals are killed every year for the pleasure of our palates and this so-called nutrition thing. I've heard of people not eating for weeks at a time. I've heard of people not drinking. I've heard of people not eating salt. I've heard of people not eating these things, and they're in perfect health. I'm 30 pounds overweight, but these guys are out there running around like marathon runners and look great and have a lot of energy and clear-headed and their life seems great. Maybe there's something to that. Words. You talk to your spouse, "Hey, hon, what do you think of this?" And then you have a real conversation for once, instead of about your stupid-ass reality shows, or instead of your stupid-ass rigged sports, or instead of fucking your controlling-ass political circus, right? And you have a real fucking conversation with your spouse about things you can actually put into action and change. Because doing the same thing over and over again, like you do over here, expecting different results, because you're just jumping from words to action, and then the only thoughts you have are afterthoughts, right? That's just the hamster wheel. That's called insanity. It's like, maybe if I just run faster, maybe I can get off this thing if I just run faster. It's like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? Well, I don't know, I'm just talking. Just talking and I'm doing. Talking and I'm doing. That's the way to get things done. You gotta talk and you gotta do. Well, what about thinking? Oh, I haven't got time for that. It's all up here, baby. It's all up here. Right? Because you're running off of program, guys. Again, you're running off of controlled programming, contained programming, mind slave programming that's meant to keep you dumbed down and not thinking critically. It's meant to fool you into think you're thinking when you're not. It's made, when I say reasoning, and I explain to you that reasoning is having a thought in your head and then sitting there with it and then coming to all the logical conclusions and then acting out the proper conclusion that you came to that is most beneficial, right? You're like, I do that all the time. I have kids. I'm responsible. I'm a manager at my work. I know exactly what I'm doing. What are you talking about? No, you don't. Even the manager at your work, you are following a goddamn guidelines. You are following a book. All you have ever done in your life is memorize shit and then follow what the leader does. The only reason you had kids is because you're so goddamn distraught, depressed, and anxious. You were just hoping that that child will make something better for you. And from day one, after you fucking stoop so low to name, number, and catalog it into slavery systems and allow the state to inject heavy toxic metal poisons into its vein, it all went downhill from there. Because then you had to teach it how to abusively teach it how to eat, sleep, shit, and separate from human contact. Everything you weren't supposed to do as a parent. So you see, you got cognitive dissonance, and that cognitive dissonance makes you double down and justify and excuse everything you do, because the only way to deal with cognitive dissonance is either to think, say the proper things, and therefore act accordingly, or think, which isn't thinking, it's just choosing from that narrow set of parameters that they gave you in the mindset box and go, okay, well, I gotta do this. This is just how everybody is, and my mom beat me too, and you know, thank God for television, and they keep the big kids busy, and school, I hate it when during the summertime when school's out, because then I got little Johnny and I gotta get him a babysitter, and little Johnny stresses me out, right? Thoughts, words, and actions. When you align thoughts, words, and actions, you you see how straight this is. I mean, it's straight on down. It's easy. It's hard. It's extremely difficult at first. Extremely difficult because you are so used to operating within that strict set of parameters and not actually thinking deeply, that just to sit there and think, you will discover how anxious you really are. You're incredibly anxious. We are all incredibly anxious people because anxiety comes with survival mode, which is what we're all in. And only someone operating in survival mode is going to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then have this on the weekends and that on the weekends, and every day have it scheduled and planned out, and every day be stressed and every day be low energy. That's all survival. That's a sign of you being in survival mode. That's what it is. It's that simple, guys. Because a healthy person who is only acting after they've thought first deeply and acting in a manner in which it aligns with their thoughts and words, and not just saying whatever and then just going in and doing 50 other different things and then afterwards thinking, oh, my life's fucked up, I'm out of control, there's nothing I can do, it's everybody, my mom abused me, my government is just fucking me over, taking all my money in taxes, my boss is a dick, my friends are just virtue signaling assholes, and right? And that's the only thoughts you guys think. You guys complain constantly. There's constant complaining, words, nothing but complaining, blaming everything and everybody else when you can't even recognize and accept things for what they are, detach from this stuff, reclaim your authority, be in charge of yourself, take personal responsibility. But yet you're going to sit there and complain about everybody and everything else. And then you're going to take actions that just feed into everything that you're complaining about. You sit there complaining about your job 24/7, but what are you doing to change it? What are you doing? Well, I can't get out. It's the only job I have in this town. There's no more jobs. And that's why you keep yourself on the hamster wheel. You're in the mind slave box. You refuse to think outwards of that, and you because you have been in ego and survival mode your whole life, you are. When we are stuck in survival mode, all you want is comfort. So when you're in survival, coming out of survival, all you want is comfort. Okay, you want that comfort. You want to relax, calm down, take a deep breath. You want to, it made you so uncomfortable because of the anxiety and your heart racing and everything else. You want to calm down. You want to sit down. You want to kick your feet up. You want to go, and that's just a natural biological reaction because your body wants you to rest so that way you can recover. Okay. But the problem is because we're constantly going from survival state to a comfortability state, we're just jumping literally from survival to comfortability. The alarm clock goes off in the morning. Gotta get Johnny ready for school. Gotta get to work. Oh, I'm gonna be late. I got a client. Right? And then that's how your whole day goes. And then until lunchtime. And then you're like, I can sit down and eat. And then you eat. You got like 15, 20 minutes to eat, and you're shoving poisonous food in your face. And then you fucking, okay, back to it. And then you go back to it. And your whole day is like that. And so you're just constantly, at any time that you're not literally running from the lion, you are, looking for some kind of comfort. Any kind of comfort. That's why Johnny pisses you so off. Johnny's voice just irks the living fuck out of you because you keep, it just reminds you of that survival mode because he's a responsibility. He's something you got to take care of. You need comfort. You need relaxation. You need recovery time. You need to heal. You don't have time to hear that fucking mommy. Right? So what do? You feed him fucking poisonous foods that make his hormone levels and his energy levels and his goddamn emotions go like this. He can't even think straight. It makes his brain go because it acts just like a fucking drug. So 1 minute he's up, next minute he's crashing. 1 minute he's up, next minute he's crashing. And then just like a drug addict, every 20 minutes he needs another hit of whatever fucking poison you're giving him, right? And so there again, you're just using your words. You're pissed off, using your words, and then screaming and yelling and sitting him in front of a TV and grounding him and punishing yourself and everything else. And then afterwards, at the end of the evening, you cry, like the woman will cry to her husband and be like, oh, honey, I think I was just so mean again today to Johnny. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. And the husband, instead of them sitting there having a fucking critical thought conversation, he just goes, oh, honey, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, baby. It's okay. Little Johnny's a little shit anyways. I know how hard that can be. I'll tell you what, why don't you go out on the weekend this weekend with your friends and go party and have a good time, right? And then they just stay on the hamster wheel. Okay, we're doing absolutely nothing to get to actually think and get ourselves aligned with our words and our actions so little Johnny we can actually set an example for little Johnny. No, fuck setting an example. Do as I say, not as I do, right? That's how we parent. Do as I say, not as I do. And kids, all they want is the example. They don't care. Kids don't give a fuck what you say. Your kid, I don't care how much you think your kid loves you or adores you or how great of a parent you think you are or all the guilt and shame that you carry with you because you think that's going to be, save you from, that's your salvation. Yet you have to saddle yourself with guilt and shame in order to make everything okay. And somehow that just, alleviates all your burden of responsibility to take action in the proper way. But none of that matters. Your kid literally sees you as a fucking hypocrite. Unless you've aligned your thoughts, words, and actions, if you are constantly everywhere and none of it makes sense and you're never sticking to any goals, never sticking to anything you say, never fucking making sense, just giving him blasé excuses like, oh, it's just the way it is, Johnny. Everybody does it. Fuck, I'm doing the best I can. And you're just doing that stupid shit. All your kid sees you as is a hypocrite. That's all they see you as. Because kids don't care about anything other than your actions. They want to see your actions. They can hear the fucking TV talk. They can hear their goddamn, abusive ass teacher talk. They can hear their phone sit there and talk to them all fucking day. It doesn't matter. All they want is your action. They want to see the example set for how they're supposed to live. And if you are running around like a chicken with your head cut off, constantly stressed out, constantly crying, screaming, your emotions everywhere, uncontrollable, your words saying one thing, doing another, fucking never thinking deeply, just fucking coming out with stupid excuses and justifications for everything that make no sense, that kid doesn't give a fuck about you. Like deep down, he doesn't give a fuck what you say. He is literally just trying to please you. He is literally saying, yes, mommy, I love you, mommy, because he's scared to death of you because you're a fucking crazy person. He's a little tiny kid, fucking this crazy adult running around acting like a lunatic that makes no sense, never does anything right, fucks everything up, and then just screams and yells at him. He is scared as shit. You are perpetuating and propagating the abuse and the violence and the trauma and these control systems onto that child. So now I don't know why this video ended up being about parents, but guys, this goes for any of us as individuals, as single people, people without kids, young people. You have to align your thoughts, words, and actions, because it's the same example, but I don't know, I just jumped straight into comparing it with the parents, because that just seems like such an obvious way to get this across, because you can see, I mean, if your words and your actions and your thoughts are just everywhere like that, you're never going to get anywhere. You know what I mean? You're never going to get anywhere. Your life is going to be just a ball of confusion, and that's right where the slave mind is supposed to be. But it's so simple. But again, before you can even get here, you have to get these first 7 steps down in this fundamental foundation for freedom. You have to. There's no way you're getting here without completely integrating and deprogramming and making these steps a part of you. You're not going to do it. You might be able to do it for a month. You might be able to force yourself through and stress yourself out to do it for 6 months. But I'll tell you what, you're going to be right back over in this area very, very fucking quickly. Because what's going to happen is you're going to stress your system out because you never deprogrammed. You're running on the old programming. And now you're trying to act in a certain way that is non-conducive to that old programming. Everything you're doing is causing you cognitive dissonance. All the shallow thoughts you're thinking that are finally outside the box hurt you because you haven't deprogrammed. You're trying to run 2 programs that are butting their heads. And this one's the established program. This one's been here for decades. And then you bring this new program and you say, hey, I'm gonna run on this one now. Well, you didn't even take this one out of the system yet. How's this one gonna run? It's not. It can by force, by conscious force and awareness, but you got to get these steps down, guys. You have to get these steps down into your subconscious. You have to get these things into your being. They have to become, your moment by moment, the way you're living. You cannot let there shouldn't be one thought crossing your mind and you not addressing it fully and getting to the root of it. Where's this thought coming from? Does this thought benefit me? Why am I having this thought? And thinking about that thought from 20 different directions. Because if you don't, that's the only way you're going to slowly get rid of it. You have to process through these thoughts. What we've been doing is running away from our issues and problems our whole life. And what we're doing now is we're turning around and facing them. Now, when you turn around and face them, there's no more running. So those thoughts are going to fucking really pile up quick, man. It's snowing outside. Everything's white. It was dark and raining when I first started this video. Now everything's white out there. But yeah, so if you don't sit there and process every single thought and sit down and be patient with this and face these things, you're just going to end up right back over here. And you're going to make if you have anxiety, if you have these things, which we're all anxious too, by the way, guys, we just don't realize it because we keep ourselves so busy. We get up on an alarm clock in the morning, we get ready for work, we run out the door, we're at work, we're like, okay, got to keep my job, 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 got to keep my job. You work, you come home, you cook, you eat, poison all day long, and then you're sitting down in front of a TV and you're zoned out, right? And then you do it all again the next day, and it's just the next day, the next day, next day, next day, next day, next day, next day. It's extremely poisonous and toxic to the system. It's completely unnatural, non-conducive to biological life, and it's all on purpose. It's all to keep you a mind slave. They, of course, physically they have us as slaves, but look why you're working so hard, because you've got to afford your $1,400 a month mortgage, because you have to pay for your $600 a month car with your insurance, because you have to pay for your fucking 5,000 channels you have on your stupid ass TV, because you got to pay for that fucking $1,200 phone in your pocket, because you got to pay for the fucking best cell phone service, because you got, you know what I mean? It's all dopamine hits. It's all addictions that keep you fucking going and keep you acting. You keep on saying something's got to change, but you keep on doing the same thing over and over, and then your only thoughts are afterthoughts that go, oh, this is so fucked up, oh, I'm so tired, oh, I got to change. You're not even doing anything. So we got to align thoughts, words, and actions, and that will come. This comes after you get these, after you start integrating these and really integrating them, and then putting them into real world situations for every situation in your life, and changing everything in your life slowly. This will come with ease. This right here it's amazing how when you take these steps, that the thoughts, the words, and the actions just align, and the peace that brings, that is a peace that passes all understanding. I'm telling you right now, that peace is a peace that passes all understanding, is when you have your thoughts, words, and actions aligned, and you no longer have those racing thoughts anymore, because you have addressed them, you've confronted them, you've faced them, and all of these things that come up, know from here on out that they're going to be thoroughly examined, and they're not just going to pop up and cause you, emotions, and cause you to do addictions and dopamine hits, and that they are going to be thoroughly examined, deconstructed, broken down to their base points, and then addressed and figured out. And then you won't have those racing thoughts anymore. But it takes time to get to that spot. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes commitment to your healing, and it takes a lifestyle change. It's a complete lifestyle change. You got to get out of your mind slave box. You got to quit playing the games. You got to understand that every choice you think you've been making your whole life has all been in a very, very narrow set of parameters that have been laid down for you since birth, and that you have the capability and you are able to choose outside of that and to think outside of that, but you have to break free from your addictions. You cannot have the both worlds, guys. You cannot bat both sides. You cannot sit on the fence right here. You can't. There's no fence sitting in this. It's either aligning thoughts, words, and actions and behaving appropriately, or it's just the continuation of the insanity in which you live, and prolonging the angst and the anxiety and the apathy and everything else, and just acting like a crazy person the rest of your life, and just going, oh, this is the way it is. Nothing I can do. Well, that's how everybody else is. Right? So we have to take responsibility for ourselves, guys, and this is how it works. So best wishes to everybody. Leave your comments in the comments section. I hope everybody's doing well, and this series is helping you guys. I know it helps me. I mean, I've gone back through and watched all these videos, and it just helps me keep reaffirming. It helps me keep reprogramming, so that way I can make that foundation, secure. I can make it solid. There's no wavering. There's no, as I go through my day and wonder what's going on, there's none of that anymore. I know exactly what's going on. Nothing comes into my life by surprise anymore, without me at least ready to face it. and figure it out. So best wishes to you guys. Take care, and take care of yourself, because nobody else will.